Good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk, the Women's Roundtable. We are coming to you live from the Voice of America in Washington this Thursday, October the 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Sithandekile Mhlanga. Today, we are discussing how Zimbabwean women, most of them in the informal sector, are providing for their families under the current challenging economic conditions in the country. In his State of the Union National Address Monday, President Emmerson Mnangagwa said the economy was on an upward trajectory, recording positive growth rates across sectors. He said women play a critical role in contributing to economic growth and adding viable and profitable micro, small, and medium enterprises have a far-reaching impact on the economy and as a whole. And as a result, the SMEs Act will be reviewed. But before we dive deep into this discussion, let's take a look at what's happening in Ghana, where in late July, Parliament voted to make it a crime to accuse a person of witchcraft. If the president signs the bill into law, it will also force the closure of camps where hundreds of accused witches live in exile. Hamza Adams has the report narrated by Grace Oyenubi.
Every morning, Fatima comes to this camp to help her mother with chores. Her mother has lived here for 5 years, forced to flee her home after being accused of witchcraft. Fatima, who also goes by her first name, says her mother was accused of witchcraft in a part of northern Ghana where traditional beliefs are deeply rooted. But Fatima says her mother can't go back to her community because the stigma attached to such labels is hard to shake off.
It's been 5 years since traditional healers in this camp declared that my mother was not a witch. We want to take her home, but the community is unwilling to accept her. That is the reason why I came here to take care of her.
More than 500 people are living in this camp because they have been accused of witchcraft. Nearly 67% of people in the country accused of witchcraft are widows, according to a 2022 report by Zongtaba, a human rights organization and susceptible to violence. In 2020, a 90-year-old woman was beaten to death in Kafaba, in Ghana's Savannah region, over a witchcraft accusation. Amnesty International's Genevieve Partington says such attacks are not acceptable.
People feel if they accuse someone of being a witch, they can lynch them, beat them, let them submit them to all sorts of human rights abuses, and it's not right.
In July, Ghana's parliament passed a bill criminalizing the accusation of witchcraft, but the bill is still waiting for President Nana Akufo-Addo's signature. If implemented, the bill will also force the closure of camps housing accused witches across the country. Francis Xavier Sosu is the parliamentarian who moved for the passage of the bill.
At the UN level, the Human Rights Council and the periodic reviews of Ghana always made reference to issues of witchcraft and women who are left in witch camps, and violated all the Universal Declarations on Human Rights.
Human rights groups in Ghana have lauded Parliament's efforts, and Amnesty's Partington says the bill also carries penalties for people who make accusations of witchcraft.
If you abuse physically, emotionally, any person or accuse them of witchcraft, you can go to jail for a period of up to 5 years. I think this is something very important.
In 2014, Ghana's government attempted to close the 6 witch camps in the country, but managed to shut down only 1. Analysts hope passing the bill and closing the remaining 5 camps will end the exile and suffering of the hundreds of women accused of witchcraft. For Hamza Adam in Kumasi, Ghana, Grace Oyenubi, VOA News.
And South African President Cyril Ramaphosa today tightened security at the Porus Beitbridge border post by deploying a new border force. Mr. Ramaphosa was accompanied by President Mnangagwa when he launched the Border Management Authority, the third law enforcement authority in South Africa. After the police and the army, the South African leader is increasingly under pressure at home to curb illegal migration ahead of general elections next year. And in Zimbabwe, government says it hopes cotton farmers will double their production this year from 90,000 metric tons produced last year to 189,000 metric tons this farming season, a feat which farmers say is too ambitious considering their current hurdles, which include low remuneration. We have Happiness Marapi, a farmer who says opportunities in the cotton sector have enabled her to afford buying clothes and paying school fees for her children.
Donje ndinowana zvakawanda mudonje. Chekutanga iyo mari yacho chaiyo yedonje yacho. Chechipiri mudonje tinowana mashira aya anobva mushinda dzedu dzedonje. Kana hembe ndakapfeka ndakasonera ndikakurodza kuti chikarabva mudonje. Tinowana manyowa tinoisa maguna aya mudakari toisa kuti mombe dzisadhibhe dzisanyura zvakare mudonje mune mafuta. Mune mafuta, mune nziyake inonzi mastafu zvisara toti donje rakanaka nekuti inini pandori mazvimwe angu zvirimwa zvezvo asi ndozva kuti mari yangu yedonje ndinotozva kuti iyi inondibatsira pakuti vana vangu vechikoro kubhadhara zvimwe zvanoida kubhadhara sesu kwedu kubhuku redu takajoina mapolisi saka tinenge kuti tikaona mari tobhadhara vika 1 tatopedza gore rese handiti zvakare inini chandakafarira kudonje amai vakatirangarira asi kwedu kushamba takasimudza zvichemo zvokuti amai honai donje taakupiwa machansi taakupiwa chii asi amai vakatirangarira pamamachines saka mumamachines taakusona takwanisa kuwana mari yekuti tibhadhara vana chikoro tiwane chikafu nyangwe edonje anonoka hayo kuuya mari nandasi hatisati tabhadhara asi tiri kubatsirika kuburidza nechi nekurima donje saka ndakutenda nekuti pandave izvozvo zvika ndatosvikawo nzvimbo inoninyaya kurima chi chirimwa chakanaka hongu maimbudzi mahara asi pandashanda ipapapa paraundi yamuna
zvokuti mungatokurumbidzirawo vamwe kuti aiwa uyai tibatane tirime donje.
Aiwa donje chirimwa chakanaka kurima nekuti chine zvakawanda mafuta andichakudya tiri kutoendesa vana chikoro takwanisa kusona takwanisa kuziva kuti tinotopfekawo vana vachapfeke zvigamba tototengawo machira tichidi anobva mudonje saka chirimwa chakanaka ende chinoyamura Zimbabwe yedu kuti chibudirire.
That was Happiness Marapi speaking to our reporter Tobias Mudzingwa. Now let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depend on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those just joining us, this is LiveTalk, the Women's Roundtable, coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. We are discussing how women, most of them in the informal sector, are catering for their families under challenging economic conditions. And to discuss our topic in depth, our guests are Vakani Ncube of the Bulawayo Vendors and Traders Association, Phindile Gosha, an entrepreneur and director of Startup Greenhouse Academy, and politician Lindwe Maphosa, ZANU-PF activist and former legislator. We welcome you to the show, ladies, and I'll start with you, Ms. Vakani Ncube. Yes, your organization is looking at all these vendors, most of them women. May you tell us exactly what is going on? Are they able to make ends meet using their trade?
Uma sikhangela i-informal sector, isektor isebenza njengenhlanganiso, isektor esipladesi esegcwele konke umuntu phose esethengisa kugcwele zonke indawo. Ngakho lokhu kuya-affecta indlela imisebenzi eqhutshwa ngakhona. Kodwa abantu sebethengisela iloba ngaphi kwendawo okungavunyelwa khona. Sithole ukuthi indawo zokuthengisela zinlutshwane, and i-informal sector iplaga indawo abantu abathengisayo ngomama abazisebenzayo yibo abatholakala kakhulu kwi-environment leyo. Kunjalo bethengisa omama i-environment ifladet ngayo wonke umuntu ngawo wonke ama-products. Ngakho bafuna ukubaforce ukuthi beyehlise ama-price ezinto abazithengisayo ukwenzela ukuthi at least umuntu ahambe ephethe something la yazi akudla lemuli yakhe, ngoba kulokhu abakuthengisayo kabenelisi ukuthi bephilise izimuli zabo ngendlela abakhangelele ukuthi beziphilise, ngoba yikho abathembe khona ukuthi abantwana badle, bahambe ezikolo, behambe ezibhedlela, ukubhadala amarenti, ngabalisa yonke into nje encedakalayo ukuthi imuli iphile. Ngakho abenelisi ukuziphilisa ngendlela lapho abaphila khona. Zinengi izifo abahlangana lazo njengabomama bethengisa endaweni zabo abathengisela kizo. Ngingaqhubekela phambili ngibalise ngithi kundawo lezi abathengisela khona i-ground ayikho level, ama-opportunities, amathuba emsebenzi awafanyani ngabe sikhangela iseli silenge labomama. La ilonga kuyiwo abagcweleyo kwi-informal sector, kodwa it's not favored ngezizathu lezi ezilandelayo ukuthi omama abalazi ukuthi abazi-onale ngabangagcina amaloni ukuthi bezithuthukise kumbe bethuthukise amabhizinesi zabo. Abalazi abangayibanzi zabo esingathi baziso esengadala ukuthi bethole iloni, kaba-oni izindlu, kaba-oni amafamu, kaba-oni izinto ezitheni. Ngakho-ke kuyabenqabela ukuthi langoba bethuthi ukuthi amabhizinesi zabo ekhule, labanye belokhu besebenza kumabhizinesi amancane. Njalo njengabomama bahlangana lehlupho ezinengi, bayaladelwa ukuthi laba ungabonakala kubona lawo mama abalutshwana ababethi ba-successful. Nalowo muntu mama uyaladela, uyabizwa ngelinye ibizo engeke ngaqambe angahloniphisiyo, ngenxa yokuthi ukwanisile ukuthi engavusa ikhanda phakathi kwabanye mama ame akwanise ukuzimela njengomuntu. Akhona lamabizo amabi ababizwa ngawo angavumelekanga. Osobona labo bengomama kukhona ukweyisana ukuthi ngona bakhangelelana phansi ukuthi hayi angeke bethuthukisane, kuyatholakala kwabanye kwabomama. Then also kulabo abalutshwana babo lakho ukuthi maybe umama ethonelwe ngumkakhe wasale selefamu kumbe selebhizinisi, bathola ukwethuselwa ngingathi phose ngobaba babe sesikhambe khona esikuza khona ngobaba bezama ukwethusela ukuthi umuntu ongumama karani ibhizinisi engaka, umuntu ongumama akala-right esekuona izinto. Abanye babekhuluma ngenhliziyo ezibuhlungu beze bethontise enzimathonsi inyembezi ngenxa yezinto abahlangana lazo ma bekufizi abasebenzelayo khona njengabantu abazisebenzayo. Singathi okunye abahlangana lakho yikuthi bashintsha kwama-policies ethu ukuthi awakho consistent, avuke ethintile, uyathi saplane ngalokhu fatha kuyavuka kuthintile, singabe ngalokhu kuyavuka kuthintile. So ngathi ngezinye zezinto omama abahlangana lazo indawo abasebenzela kizo ngamalapha ngiyabona.
Yes, siyabonga kakhulu. Yes, we would like to say thank you to Vakani Ncube of the Bulawayo Vendors and Traders Association there, who's saying that women usually face these challenges, which include sexism and sometimes uneven ground with their male counterparts when competing for clients there. And sizaphenduka kuwe uhlale khonapho ecingweni Nkosazana Ncube. And now we come to you, Phindile Gosha. Yes, what can you say about the economic situation in the country and how women are surviving, seeing that your organization says one of its aims is to empower women and girls and improve their business skills?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Engingawutsho nge-economy yethu thina lapha yikuthi things might not be what we want them to be. But Zimbabweans or Zimbabwean women are the most resilient people that I know. They create opportunities even if it seems almost impossible that there are opportunities out there. So lokho ngikutsho ngoba ngibona indlela ukuthi noma izinto zingaba nzima kodwa abantu abangomama bayatholakala bese kuma spaces ayenza ukuthi bekwazi ukuphila nemuli zabo. Njengoba usisekhulumile abantu abangomama esikhathi esiningi baphila ngokuthenga lokuthengisa okuthiwa yikuwoda lokuthengisa. So ungahamba emamarket endaweni ezijejene, mina njengomuntu ohlala eBulawayo uma ungena endaweni etown lapha usiye etown kugcwele abantu abangomama bayathengisa abamanga regardless of the economic situation. So kubonisa i-resilience yona leyana ukuthi noma kungabe kubonakala engathi izinto zi-impossible kodwa abantu abangomama they always make a way. So yikho engikubonayo thina i-organization yethu ikhona ukugqugquzela abantu abangomama to keep on moving regardless of the circumstances ngoba kuyafana lokudla abantu siyadla noma ngabe i-economy benzima kodwa simo ukudla. So abantu abathengisa ukudla bekhona beqhubeka ngamabhizinisi abathengisa into ezidliwayo, asimo ukugqoka abantu babekhona abathengisa impahla zabo ezokugqoka. Ungakhangela iningi labantu bona labo abacontributayo engathi improved entrepreneurial ecosystem ngabantu abangomama. So we always try to create programs that will empower women and give them the necessary skills that will see them continue and excel in their different chosen spaces. So abantu abangomama amanye ama-situations awekho ngathi accommodating for abantu abangomama. So sebesikhangelele thina njenge-South African Academy ukuthi yikuyini singakwenza ukuthi ama-spaces lawa abe accommodating for abantu abangomama esitshina yi-gender empowerment and equality.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. We'll come back to you to hear exactly what those programs are and how they have empowered the women and girls. And sesibuya kuwe ke Nkosazana Lindiwe Maphosa sizaqalisa ke ngolimi lwesingisi esizaxoxa ngalo ukuthi do you think the economic situation in the country is conducive for women to realize profit in whatever endeavors they are undertaking? Ms. Maphosa.
Okay, thank you very much. In your introduction, you said that I am from ZANU-PF, which is very correct. But I want to put a disclaimer that whatever I'm saying today is my personal views. I'm not speaking on behalf of my party because I'm not the spokesperson of that party. So thank you so much for having me in this program. Well, what I can say is the economy will always be the economy, and what women go through will always be the same, whether the economy is said to be okay or the economy is not deemed okay. Why do I say that? Women are always struggling to make ends meet. We've heard some talking about vendors, but I've got a different perspective to say, look, if councils actually, put this as their agenda to say we've got a lot of vendors and those vendors are women. What can we do so that we help them that they work freely and they work in conducive environments? So instead of us keeping them away from the way they are vending from, why do they do to different places where they can sell from? We see that the reason why they come to town is because there are no proper places even for taxis to rent. So the vendors will follow where there is business. So my point is to say council should up their game and make sure that they've got a parking lot of taxis that are sanctioned so that vendors will follow where people are. And my point is actually based on realizing that we now have TR councillors. that is their job, to make sure that the women that they are representing, their burden, the burdens that they are carrying, loosened or maybe made easier. They should be able to see that service is delivered in the rightful amount, so that those women, they are alleviated in the hardships that they are going through. Also, when I was in Parliament under Women Affairs, we also went around to see how we can help these women. And there is a bill that is in Parliament right now, and we propose that in those vending spaces, children are playing spaces where at least when someone is vending there, the children are also a daycare center or maybe where they could be playing. So those are the things that we are looking at and what government is trying to do in fact to make the life of women easier. Also, we should realize that women are also not only vendors. We've got women in farming, we've got women in mining. We are also saying the policies are there that are protecting women. The policies are there that will make women work easier. But it is the issue of implementation and the issue of accessibility. We could have this maybe in big crowds, but women maybe in rural or our women from outskirts cannot access those things. So we should make sure that the banks and the funds that are there for women are accessible so that everything, is on reach. So the economic hardships, yes, they play a role, but my issue is the women should be looked at whether the economic hardships are there or they are not, because they always, live in on whatever they are doing. We've got professors, we've got doctors, we came out with vendors. So it's not like the economy will be dead every time, but women should be protected in whatever they are doing. So those are my contributions.
Siyabonga umcija eqhakathekileyo lapho okhulunywa ngusopolitiki uLindiwe Maphosa okhuluma ezimele kodwa ukubandlalezana uPF njalo owayelilunga ledale leParliament ke bana babengena kuma committee achiyeneyo lamanye aphathelane labesifazana njengabo Women's Caucus lokunye yikho ke lapha desinika khona ulwazi lakhe lokuthi hayi abanye labo kumele bavuke bezenzele ngoba lanxa isimo somnotho sinjani kodwa umuntu wesifazana uzahlala ebhekanele inhlupho ezonezo lanxa engalamali lanxa iqeqeshiwe lanxa kunjani. Sesilomlaleli wethu ke ose South Africa, siyakwamukela kuhlelo mlaleli. Yebo ke ungakhuluma sinzakuzwa, khuluma kuphela ifoni.
Yebo.
Mbane ngikhuluma laye ungaphi kwelizwe ekhaya uvela ngapi?
Ngikhulula Khumalo ekhaya kuseGwanda la embuya khona.
Yebo ke lapha sicubungula okuphathelane lezomnotho welizwe lokuthi kambe abantu abazisebenzayo bona baphumelela yini kwele Zimbabwe. Ubona ingani kulula yini ukuqhuba amabhizimusi ekhaya?
Hayi mina ngiboni ingqamba esibhekana nazo ziningi kakhulu kuleli lizweni lethu ngoba uma ubheka umnotho endlela ontengantenga ngakhona amboni ukuseneliseka ukuthi umuntu avule ibhizinisi lakhe aqhubekele phambili.
Yes, siyabonga kakhulu ukusixhasa kuhlelo isikhathi yiso nje singasavuma ukuthi sikhulume kabanzi. But that was our caller, Khululani Khumalo, who's saying the economic situation back home in Zimbabwe, because it's in South Africa, is not conducive to carry out a business. Sesibuya kuwe njalo Nkosazana Bakani Ncube ngamafitshane ungasitshela ukuthi inhlelo zikahulumende ziyaphathisa yini abesifazane? Ngisitsho abesifazana bona labo abathengisayo sibonile ukuthi belilo mhlangano wabantu abalamabhizimusi amancane kuyaphathisa yini? Ngizakunika umzuzu owodwa lengxenye okwenzela ukuthi senelise ukukhuluma labanye abahlonitshwa isikhathi singatshayi.
Inhlelo zikahulumende ziyaphathisa, ezinye zakhona ziyaphathisa. Ngingathi khangelela kuma-training bayaphathisa. Ngikhuluma nje kune-training kade siyenza sibambisana lazo ingatsho zikahulumende ukuthi abamabhizinisi abancane befundiswe ukuthi amabhizinisi abo bengawakhulisa njani, bengayenza njani ama-strategies ukuthi amabhizinisi abo abe resilient, bekwanise ukuzimela ungathi yebo ziyaphathisa kodwa zikhona izinto njalo njengamaloni ukuthi bayesithi ukuphathisa ukuthi abantu abazisebenzayo bewafinyelele but ama-demands or ama-step athathayo ukuthi umuntu azethole leyo mali engamsiza awakho friendly and abayenelisi. So ngakho-ke zikhona ezinye eziphathisayo ezinye zilemsiyo ebambayo ukuthi bengenelisi ukuthi kubaphathise kumabhizinisi zabo kodwa kunjalo nje labo benile bengomama baya belazo ezinye ama-strategies abancedisayo ukuthi bezimele njengokuthi bayenze ama-revolving fund ngama-ISAs and also bekhombayo bedinga umuntu ongahambi bawodela be-reduce amakhosi dawani and also sebefunda ukuthi labo bengama-producers bengabi ngama-sellers kuphela but labo bekwanisa ukuziproducela ezinye izinto ezinjengama-detergent or ukuzimela ezinye izilimo kuma-nutrition department then bezisebenzele ngathi ngama-kitchen yizo ezinye ezinto esizitholayo e-commerce yabo.
Yebo-ke, thank you to Bakani Ncube there who's saying even though government has some conducive plans, it's hard to put them into practice as there is a lot of bottlenecks and some vendors want to formalize their trade and be the producers, not just the sellers. But they find that paperwork and other stuff makes it difficult. And coming to you, Nkosazana Phindile Ncube ngolimi lwesiNgisi njalo lawe ngunika umzuzu owodwa. What exactly what skills are you imparting to the women and the girls, and how successful has it been?
Okay, thank you very much. With the girls, we're starting from career coaching, where we want to encourage them to go an extra mile when it comes to choosing their career. As soon as they're in Form 4 or they're doing their third year, they should be knowing what they want to do and not just focus on, because, most people when we were growing up, when they ask what you want to do when you grow up, you'd say a teacher or a policeman. So we're saying there are so many things, there's so much that you can do. So we are planting that innovative mind in them when they're choosing their careers. So when it comes to women as well, we're giving them business skills. Under business skills, we're training them on how to be compliant. Their businesses, they must be compliant for them to grow. They need to be compliant and have all the documents in place, because there are so many opportunities that you might miss out.
Yabo-ke siyabonga kodwa ngiyaxolisa senza kubamba umlomo khonapho sembuya kuwe-ke Nkosazana Lindiwe Maphosa ngolimi lwesiNdebele ungasigqibela-ke uhlelo ngokusitshela ukuthi ubona ingani uhulumende uyenelisa yini ukuthi acreate singathi environment ngesiNgisi yokuthi abesifazana basebenze kuhle labanye abazisebenzayo ukuthi bethole inzuzo.
Ngiyabonga, mina ngibona ngathi uhulumende engakwenelisa ngoba vele thandekile imithetho ikhona imithetho akhona ama-policies akhona abekiweyo phansi ayenza ukuthi omama besebenze kuhle, ayenza ukuthi imisebenzi yabo yonke iphumelele, but into eshotayo ukuthi ku-implement. Singathola abantu abasezigabeni, abantu abasemsebenzini, ama-councils, abantu abayibo abanika ama-licenses akade ethala ngabantu, abantu abahlala phansi bona abakhokhela business ngekho formal ama-informal traders bengahlala phansi bephumele document beyihambise kuhulumende ambone ukuthi kuyini ongayehlula ukuthi beformalize amabhizinesi zabo. So kudingeka ukuthi abalidayo, kudingeka ukuthi bonabo abasemsebenzini bayenze izinto ngendlela ezisemabhukwini, ngendlela oku-constitution, ngendlela okuma-policies ukuthi izinto lezi, but ukuthi abantu bayahlalela imisebenzi bengayenzi okwenza ukuthi khona abantu
yebo-ke siyabonga senza kubamba umlomo lapho isikhathi asavumi ukuthi sibe sonke. We'd like to say thanks to our guest Bakani Ncube and Phindile Gosha and Lindiwe Maphosa. We've come to the end of our show and saying goodbye. It's Sithandekile Mhlanga until we meet again.